Welcome back, ladies, to the podcast, Reinventing the Arena. I'm the host, Molly Connolly. If you have been listening to past episodes, I really appreciate it. If this is your first time catching me, I am so glad that you are here. There has been so much transformation going on behind the scenes. This hypothetical break in November turned into breaking for the holidays, which turned into more of a break for myself. And I know I explained it in the last episode of certain things that have been coming up and things that I wanted to focus on, such as like my master's in NLP certification, a few things personally that I wanted to take care of. And it just has been one thing rolling into another, helping me see more of what I want to be doing going forward. And if you haven't listened before, because of this break, I've had some breakthroughs, which is why I'm here. There's been a lot of great moments that have happened on my break, which I can only imagine maybe that's the same for you. Maybe you enjoyed time with friends and family around the holidays. Maybe you have enjoyed the slowing down or starting new goals and speeding things up. Maybe you've gone on a few dates. Maybe you've met someone. Maybe you have gone all in for yourself and put dating and relationships on hold. Whatever it is, I hope that you are finding what you are looking for right here, right now, within this present moment. So for myself, I was learning quite a bit during this transformation. I took a break mostly because I was starting to feel burnt out, but not in the same sort of corporate burnout. There was this very, how do I even want to say it? This gap, this sort of stagnation of like, something isn't right. I don't feel good about what is going on in my life, meaning there's something here that I need to discover. And I needed to start putting in boundaries. So if you're on my email list, those last few emails of November and December into the holidays really spoke about boundary setting and what that looks like, how to set boundaries with others and setting boundaries within yourself. And I have a whole podcast episode all about boundaries. I think it's episode 56, but double check, but go back that far. And there is a really good episode all about setting boundaries and holding them to making sure that you are taking care of yourself. With that being said, I realized that I had slipped up with some of my personal boundaries and I needed to start saying no, or even say, I know I made this commitment, but now my life has changed or my choices have changed or I've made a new decision and I needed to step back from things. So this included stepping back from my role within Smitten. I was not able to do both Smitten work and my personal business and actually have a personal life the way that I wanted to. But what was interesting is that even if I set aside personal time for myself, I wasn't really feeling the rest, the satisfaction, and the fulfillment that I had been finding months prior. So as I was taking a break from speed dating events and working with Smitten, that was when I started paying attention to a few other things that I was noticing. As always, I pick up on themes. I pick up on patterns, especially when working with clients. And one thing that was standing out with my clients was, especially from women who had been working with me for a few months, women that were in the Man of Your Spreadsheet Dreams course, they were coming to me and not talking about the men they were dating, not talking about, I want to find him, but realizing, hey, I really need to work on this part of myself. And I love that. That area of self-discovery, that self-awareness is so important in your transformation, in your transition, in finding a person to be with, because who you are at your root is who you are attracting. So if you have issues around self-worth, you're going to find someone who's either going to take advantage of that, or you're going to find someone who's also has really low self-worth, might not be communicating in the ways that you want to communicate. There might be boundaries pushed or not respected. And so there's just a lot that goes into finding someone, but the best way to do that is finding yourself first and putting yourself first. So majority of the time, I tell women the most important relationship that you have is the one you have with yourself. And some women don't like to hear that. They would rather just be like, I want to go on 50 dates in a month, and I want to figure out, and I want to find my person, and I want to have a ring on my finger, and I want this. And then they end up with someone, and the relationship either lasts for a long time, maybe that's long in like a few years, and then they break up and they have to start all over again. They're in a whole different season of their life. They've learned some things, which is great. I've been there, done that. But it wasn't until I started paying attention to myself and taking care of myself that I was able to discover what type of life I really wanted, who I really wanted in it, and really started putting boundaries in around myself and my decisions and my choices that I was making in order to find a man that would be aligned with what I wanted in my life. And that's literally took me a few years to do. But a lot of women, like I said, sometimes aren't willing to be patient and do that work. But my clients recently, this last year, were really wanting to do that self-work. So I picked up on that. I put it down. I went into I almost want to call it a hibernation. I'm telling friends that I basically went into hibernation this winter. And I put it down. I started learning some more things, specifically Neuro-Linguistic Programming. I finished my first certification, started getting my master's. I'm almost complete. Probably by the time this recording comes out, I will be completely done with my final and everything. And I started learning more about human design because my human design was helping me actually make this hibernation happen. It was bringing in a new level of awareness, a new level of acknowledgement, validation that I hadn't seen in months. And it actually was also learning about how to apply both NLP, human design into my practice, into my conversations with clients, as well as testing it out within myself and in my relationship with Brad. And even just watching this whole time of my transformation, when you're in a relationship and you're paying attention to also you and your partner, you kind of notice when your partner's going through a transformation. And I'm not going to get into Brad's recent transformation, but he has been doing a lot of inner work, which is always nice to know that men do that. I know I hear women tell me that it's really nice and wonderful to see that there are men out there that do these things. So I know I have a few men that sometimes listen to the podcast. So if you are a man who is listening, definitely start doing that inner work, focusing on yourself, what you can, really uncover in order to align yourself in a position to have the conversations, the connections, and the desire that you want in a relationship. So like I said, this really doesn't go just for women. It's for all of us. So as I was learning and playing with these different elements that I was learning, I would keep having these aha moments. And they weren't necessarily huge ahas, but small enough that I was saying, I'm going to make a choice and say yes or no to it. And that included actually deciding to leave a membership where I was working with my mentor coach. But I just didn't feel that I was aligned in the direction she was going anymore. I had been working on and off with her for about 2 years. And I was like, I'm just going to put a pause on this. And within that time frame, I realized how much I wanted to get back into alignment with my ICF certifications. So the International Coaching Federation has certifications at different levels, but in order to keep your credential, you need to be doing continuing education credits. And the more I was researching this, the more I felt invigorated and felt more like myself, learning about certain concepts, certain modalities, different tools and techniques that I can apply with my clients beyond the NLP. And so I'm going to be working through that process still for the next few months before I am able to renew that credential in July. So during this hibernation stage, I was learning so much. But what does this have to do with you? Right? What does my transformation hibernation have to do with you? It has a lot. Because like I said, when I was able to pull out those patterns from clients, when I was able to pull out the patterns from just everyday conversations I was having with women, the more I realized I needed to go back and do what felt right for myself. And when I first started Reinventing the Arena, it was actually called Ipseity Life Coaching. And Ipseity means selfhood or individual identity. And when I first created my business, I was focused around helping athletes transition from college sports to real life. And that transition can be very, very difficult for people because their identity has been wrapped up in their sport for decades. It was something that I had to go through and I still process at different levels at different times. But I realized that even though I was qualified enough, there was a lot of people that needed some deeper help. And, mental health therapy, sometimes it would require other things that I have no sort of credential or certification in. So when I kept pivoting, which I kept transforming my business aligned with what people were looking for, I would start having moments where I would doubt myself. So I would move into, oh, you should be a career coach. You would really help high achieving women find their way. So I started doing that and it still didn't feel right. And so I had hired a coach and she was wonderful. I really liked her. She gave me some really wonderful ideas. And she said, oh my gosh, the way you found your husband is phenomenal. You should be a love or relationship coach. And I was like, yeah, I could really do that. I really love that idea. And as I moved into that space, this was where the self-work was starting to shine back through. And so we would look at the 4 areas of self-transformation that I still sometimes talk about, which is self-care, self-love, self-trust, and self-worth. And a lot of women did not want to dive into that. It felt scary. They didn't know what they were going to uncover. They didn't want to cry. They didn't want to be vulnerable, whatever it was. Just make over my dating profile. I'm already perfect. Just help me find someone. And I'm like, I can't help women in this area like this. That's not what I do. So during this winter hibernation, I really was thinking, is this the end of what I want to do? Or is this just a new season? Is this just a new chapter? And it wasn't until I got through one area of my human design chart that completely thrusted me into this change. For those that don't know anything about human design, I will explain a lot more of that enough, but I'm not going to teach you how to read your chart. I'm not going to teach you much of anything about it, more about yourself and how to align into it, and maybe come up with more of perspectives about curiosity so that you can start uncovering more about yourself through your chart, through your experiences, through coaching with me. Because that's really how you can make monumental shifts in your life versus someone telling you how to do it. And that's why when I was learning about this for myself, I came to my 9 centers. So there's 9 centers within your human design chart, and they're very similar to the chakras. And only 2 of my centers, I shouldn't say only, but I have 2 centers that are defined, which means that they're colored in on your chart, which means I have access to that energy. And the reason why I have access to that energy is because there's these little numbers within each of the centers, and they're called gates. And when one gate from one center connects to another gate, they form a channel. I have one channel, and this one channel is all about self-transformation. Shit you not. And I couldn't believe it, because it just was a synchronicity. It lined up everything that I had been wanting to explore since starting coaching. It explained so much of my own transformation throughout my life. It made me more aware of my passion for transformation. In fact, I have certifications that I'm not even using that are focused on transformation, but I decided not to use them with my coaching practice because women didn't want to apply them. But it's very fascinating to see how some of the clients that I worked with started in one area and then got all the way into, I need to work on myself. And when we did work on ourselves and we did break through those layers, they had their transformations one step at a time, whether that's 1 month, 2 months, or even a few years from now. In fact, I had one client I haven't worked with since I think, 2023. So about 2 years. And she recently sent me an update about the work that we did together and how it allowed her to step into her authentic self. Like, maybe this is going to be another whole podcast episode or something else, but it really helped her embrace her. She stepped into herself and made sure that she just didn't feel like she had to play small anymore, that she could love herself fully, regardless of what people were telling her, like what to look for in a partner, what to do for a job, telling her all the things that were kind of just making her not enjoy her life to the fullest, not making her really love and appreciate herself. And when she stood firm with, this is who I am, and I appreciate this about me. And I told her, there is going to be a man who really loves that about you, who's going to be looking for you and is going to be lit up by you. And there she is. She's dating a man who loves her for every single thing about her. And that's even her words. I know I'm paraphrasing it, but you can go onto my website and you can read her little screenshot, which is just, it makes me so happy that she was able to really embrace her authentic self, which allowed her to attract the right man for her. So through all of these transformations, they don't happen overnight. And I feel like a lot of us in our society are wanting that transformation to happen so quickly because we have been avoiding ourselves for so long that we know that even if that's what we need to work on, we don't even know if we are ready because we haven't rested. We haven't taken our care of ourselves enough to really dive in and have the energy to explore this. So as I was saying with mine, when I found out that my human design chart included one channel, and it was one channel about self-transformation, I was, like I said, completely dumbfounded because that evidence I just shared was right there. But what was fascinating is that there's another thing in your human design chart called your life theme. And it's related to basically your purpose in life based off of your human design chart. And the more you start to align into your chart and really utilize different areas of it, you automatically fall into alignment for your true purpose. But normally, nothing supersedes it. But this channel is part of a network, which this is just going really like a very nuanced, very deep into human design, not something that I typically discuss with clients. So within this network, there's a series of channels, and I think there's only 4. And these channels are actually more important, if you have it, than your life purpose, your life theme, because that channel is your purpose. And so upon learning more about this channel, I found out that even though I'm focusing on my own self-transformation, I need to take my experiences, share them, and help other women transform and empower themselves through their own self-transformation. When I learned that, my heart just freaked out. I almost wanted to cry because it was so validating about what I have wanted to do with clients, like every single client that I see and interact with. And not every client has wanted that deep transformation. So I had to come on here and share that little sort of win within my self-transformation hibernation season. And know for you that this is where the podcast is going to be taking a deeper turn. Yes, in the past, I had a lot of episodes about a very specific part about relationships, or it was about more self-discovery. You can go back and learn and listen to hear more of those. I even had my husband join for couch conversations to explain or discuss topics that are related to relationships, share our perspectives. And I've had guests that come on that have a variety of tools and techniques that can help improve yourself, as well as, deepen your relationships with self and deepen relationships with others. I don't know what this next season of Reinventing the Arena podcast is going to look like 100%, because I really want to embrace this transformation. And we are definitely in that time frame of transforming, because we're moving out of winter into spring, and it's the perfect time to start embracing yourself and see what you can plant, the little seeds to plant for yourself, and see what can come up for you over the next few months. So stay tuned. Who knows where, like I said, this is going to go. There is going to be more things focusing on, like I said, self-transformation, human design, NLP techniques, and being able to get into alignment of your authentic self in order to attract the life and live the life that you are looking for. And sometimes this is going to be more than just a relationship. Now, if you want more information, if you're curious to learn more about human design, NLP, and a few other things, just head over to my website. There are new updates there. All right, lady, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will be back with you again soon.